listening to Filtered Files with Lexi and
Hi,
Son.
Son. Hello, Lex.
How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing fine. How are you doing?
Yeah, good. I feel like this has been a bit of a while.
Yeah, I think people out there don't know that we pre-recorded our files so that you could go on your vacay.
Yes, on my lovely vacay. Get some summer sun. No, it was really, really nice. A whole month away.
Traveling with the children.
Sure. We made some really good memories.
Yeah.
But yeah, I won't lie. It was challenging too, tiring. I felt like I needed a bit of a holiday.
After the holiday.
Yeah. But it was really lovely and good to take a bit of a break.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So this leads nicely into what we chose to
Yes.
speak about today.
So today we're going to be chatting about motherhood.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And what
The
makes motherhood.
surprises and all the,
Yes.
how we feel about
challenges, the surprises, the experiences that, Son and I've gone through. And, Son's got a son who's now an adult. I've got kids that are, I would say I'm only in the beginning stages of motherhood. So I think it's quite lovely to hear from two completely different sides of motherhood. And, so much has also changed. So it's going to be quite an interesting file that we'll be discussing. But also, I don't know if any of our viewers on our YouTube channel can spot the difference. We are in a new location and
change is as good as a holiday, they say.
exactly. So,
What was our change file?
I think it was number three, I think. So go listen to our change file. And
we decided we also needed a change.
needed a bit of a change. Exactly. Yeah.
So
So
here
we quite like this change because it's quite spring, and this file will be launched around springtime. So we've got some nice vibrant colors.
Fabulous.
Yes. Anyway, but let's dive into motherhood.
Yes. What was the most surprising thing for you?
I think the newborn phase was really, really challenging. No one can prepare you. I think everyone's experience with a newborn and going through labor, even though I've only ever had C-sections, I think no one can prepare you because everyone's experience of what they go through is really different. It was beautiful. Absolutely loved it. And I was really excited to have my second child to go through that again. But it was really challenging going home. The waking up at night, you almost sometimes feel a little bit alone.
The relentlessness of it all.
Exactly. And I'd wake up, and when I was breastfeeding, I felt like whether you were breastfeeding or bottle feeding, it's the same thing. You're waking up at night to feed your baby. Sometimes felt a little bit alone. I was quite lucky with my first child. My sister and I had our children
weeks apart.
It was literally 13 days apart.
Wow.
So there were times I would actually message her and I'd say, "Are you awake?" And she'd be like, "Yes, I am." So that was really, really lovely. But I'd say with my second child, my husband then had to be 100% there for my first one. And I then had to be there 100% for my second one. So I really did feel more alone. And because often with the first one, my husband at night would wake up with me. Do I need anything? And then he would go back to sleep. The second one, he had to sleep because he had to be up the next morning with my first one. And so there was a sense of loneliness that I felt with that. And with a newborn, they also don't give you much in return.
You don't even know.
No, they eat, feed, sleep, and poop, change nappies, and that's it. There's no emotional giving back. It was very one-sided. You had to be 100% there for them. They couldn't give you that smile or that cuddle like they do when they start smiling, when they start
small.
They're so tiny. So I was really scared at first, and I won't lie, I'm really enjoying the kids at this age where they give you back so much, and
they become so interactive.
It's so lovely,
expressive,
and they question things.
Oh.
Yes, fun,
and you start seeing the world more through their eyes.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
and that's something that we must always encourage ourselves to do,
Yes.
is to remember that their experiences are always like first.
Yes.
You know.
Yes. It's their first time.
Yes.
So it's, I would say that's probably surprised me the most is the beginning stages of motherhood was really tough. And I think it's also something that people don't speak about often. And I think we'll get to that stage in this file about,
I think
postpartum and stuff.
Yeah, let's dive into
But I
it.
want to know, what was your first surprises in motherhood? You've got an adult child, and is there more surprises that I should be prepared for? Hey, son.
Well,
I'm very scared for the teenage years, to be
No.
honest.
I think it's such a land of discovery, and I think that's been one of the things that ongoingly I keep reminding myself about, is that not to think that there's like this map that you're supposed to be following. It's actually, you have to keep rediscovering where you are with your kid or kids, and
Yes.
and that there's no real like formula that really applies to children as a whole. There is, for me, the bottom line is love conquers all.
Of course, yeah.
But the surprising thing there are two surprising things for me, and these are still valid now. One is that really, for me, when my son was born, that notion of understanding that your heart is now outside of yourself, and that is still
True.
valid and true now. No matter where they are, what they're doing, you have a part of yourself that isn't with you.
It must be so tough.
But our parents have had to go through that themselves.
Yeah.
Their parents, I think it's part of your
So basically,
journey.
what you're saying is the worrying and the concern never stops. Maybe just get something that you have to get used to.
And I want to say something, Lex, to try not to worry too much.
Yes.
And not fill your life with concerns about their journey, but rather being much more of an embracing,
guiding them,
the stages, and understanding how you feel about stuff without projecting it onto them. I think that is something that ongoingly I challenge myself about. That as I hit different stages, you will find that there were stages that you were going through that in that age group.
Yes.
And sometimes that starts encroaching, and how you mother becomes more about you needing to say, but is this me or is this them?
And we must realize that they are their own person.
And they are experiencing it for the first time.
Yes.
So don't project what you went through.
Yes.
In the teenage years, a lot of stuff, I remember my son turning around one day and going, but Mom, I've got to go through this. You can't, help me navigate everything. I've got to go through some stuff. You can guide me, but don't try and protect me from it. And that is something that, as a parent, it's something that you actually have to ongoingly realize, that they have to experience, and they learn the most.
Yes.
Through experience.
Yeah. Exactly. And it's almost like trial and error. They have to learn from also their mistakes, I suppose, but it's really tough. I'm petrified to almost get to that teenage stage where they're going to want to go out. They're going to want to explore. Already now, when the kids go have a little sleepover at their grandparents, or the grandparents come babysit, I'm already like on the phone. Everything okay? You know, I'm worried, even though the grandparents look after them
So this is
probably
people
even
that you
better
even
than
trust.
I would look after. And it's people I trust, and they would probably, like I'm saying, like they would look after the kids better than I would look after my own kids, because now they, you know, responsible for their children's
Well, they brought
kids.
you up.
Exactly. But so very nervous, but I also don't want to become a helicopter mom. You know, I heard there's like a new saying, bulldozer mom or something. I don't know what it is, but some bulldozer something. I'm like, you know, I want to give them this space to allow them to be. Yeah. You know, I don't want them to, they must be their own person. They must, you know, go after their own dreams. But we as mothers need to guide them in that way. And another thing that I wanted to talk about motherhood is, you know, I do feel that, and I did speak about this in file 6, I think it was the grief file, about losing a bit of my own identity, who I am. You know, Alexa now is a mommy, and I'm responsible for something not just about myself. So that was also quite a journey that I think I also had to go through. It was, I can't imagine my life without my children. And, you know, my new identity is now me plus my kids. So that's also been quite interesting. And, you know,
that's not something that's going to, you know,
ever change.
That evolves now.
Yes.
Because as, you know,
which is so beautiful.
I mean,
it's like amazing.
In my age group, you know, my friendship group is going through where the children aren't at home anymore.
Yes.
And suddenly you're going, well, now who am I now?
Yes.
Because you might have focused completely on your family, and, you know, you don't have, you know, changes have occurred in your career, whatever. You are now, so who are you now?
Yes. So it's like now your identity is changing. And yes, you're still mother. Yes, you're still wife. But now your children are now adult children. So now your whole identity is changing too.
Yeah. Adult
so
children, you know,
you're starting to maybe become
their own partners.
But maybe starting to become grandparents too, which I also feel as a grandmother. If I look at my kids' grandparents, they're lucky enough to have 2 grannies. They almost like other mothers to the kids. And that's almost like another motherhood journey as a granny to go through. I see that. Hopefully one day my kids have children, and for me that's almost like going through motherhood again, but in a completely different way, different perspective.
Well, that's one of the fun things about actually coming back to Cape Town.
Yes.
And seeing you all with kids, and me participating in the children's lives.
Yeah. Like I said, you're their fairy godmother. Well, at least
wacky.
At least my one child really believes you are a fairy godmother.
I like it.
Yes.
I like it. The unicorn child.
Yes, exactly.
Yes. But, you know, mothering is, you don't have to birth a child to be to participate in a person's life like that. It is a community.
Yeah.
That is something that I want to encourage everybody who's listening, who's watching, to remember that your children benefit so much from a wider community.
I 100% agree with that.
And really, we brought up in that space where they get exposed to, you know, not just your way of thinking, but a lot of different influences which bring out discussion. Because sometimes, you know, some people do think things that you don't, you know, as a family don't really want or see. You're going to be getting friends as they grow up.
But also I do feel that for children, sometimes they don't want to talk to their mother or their dad. And having that wider community, you know, you could be the go-to person for one of my children,
Yes.
you know, and that is great and that is so lovely.
Well, growing up, that was how
you were,
our experience.
yeah,
Yes.
you were there for my sister and I so often
Yeah.
also, you know, so. And
Hopefully still.
yes, exactly. Definitely still. Definitely still. So I think it really does, that term take a village. It really does, you know, and motherhood, yeah, like you said, it's not about birthing a child that makes you a mother.
No.
You know, it's the aunties, it's the best friends who then become family and are there for your child or children. It's the bonus moms term that Son needed to get used to, the bonus mom. For those that are around Son's age, the bonus mom
is the stepmom.
is the stepmom. So
bonus mom.
Yes.
Yeah, I like that.
Also, the moms that have adopted children, that are fostering children. You are all going through, we are all in this together. We are all going through motherhood in our own way.
Yes.
There's no manual for it. And
hopefully no judging for it.
And it doesn't make you less of a mother. It doesn't.
You know, and when there's...
Not at all.
Just to be a bit more, I suppose one of the things that came out when we were talking about this file was how your perspective has changed now that you are a mother.
Yeah.
You know, only when we became parents did we really start understanding what it was like to go to a restaurant and you've got a child, and, you know, we used to go to game drives and people used to look at us and say, why are you taking a child? Even though our son was actually the spotter on the game drive. You know,
pick up to see all the animals.
Yes, and how people actually relate to you when you have a child and they're having tantrums or whatever. And just to always remember that, you know, you're going through this and it doesn't matter what other people think or say or do. It's about your family unit and
what's right for you.
What's right for you
as a family.
Yeah.
Because that is one big thing that I can be completely honest about. Before children, I used to probably judge other parents. I'd be out for dinner and I'd say to my husband, oh my goodness, like I would never allow my child to watch a screen time during dinner. Like that is so ridiculous. Now at a restaurant, yes, I'll bring coloring books, I'll bring toys and games for them. But if they don't want to play it and they'd rather play a game on my phone or watch a movie that is appropriate, great. You know, if that makes them happy, cool. That's what they must do. Because I also want to enjoy my dinner. I want them to also enjoy their dinner. I want them to enjoy going out. I don't want it to become a fight every time we do go out because it's not nice for them. So I won't lie. I was probably, before motherhood, I used to judge other moms. Now that I've become a mother, I actually empathize. I understand. There is absolutely no judgment between what Mother A does versus Mother B, because that's what works for them and this is what works for them and their family and what's right for them. You also don't know
what's going on.
So there could be a child having a massive temper tantrum in the mall, but you don't know if that child's autistic or sensory sensitive or just didn't sleep the whole night or has a major fever or struggling with something.
Or the mother's really struggling with something.
Or the mother is struggling with something, true.
You know,
You don't know what's happening in the home situation. Maybe she's going through divorce. Maybe there's health issue, a mental health issue. You don't actually know.
You're just having a bad day.
Exactly.
You know, and when you're just having a bad day, do you really need somebody to go, ooh, you know, look at her? No. Let's just be a little bit more kind to each other. And rather go, can I help you with anything?
Exactly. I had such an experience a couple of weeks ago where we were really struggling with my son with temper tantrums and just being completely defiant and rude and disrespectful. And I said to my husband, what have we done? Like, what have we done wrong?
It's just growing up.
But it is just growing up.
Yeah.
And the more I spoke to
It's
other
called
moms
pushback.
about it, exactly,
Yes.
they're like, oh yeah, my daughter or my son went through the same thing, or we going through the same thing. And actually talking about it made it better. And when this incident happened, we were at swimming lessons, and he actually smacked me through my face. I've never experienced something like that. I don't know where to look or what to do. I think
Must have been so shocking for you.
I
Can
was
you
in
imagine?
shock.
And him?
I know. I think he was so angry that he did it without even thinking, because, you know, he is still young. So he's very impulsive. And when we went back into the change rooms, one of the moms walked in and she said to me, "Are you okay?" And I just burst out crying. I was just so embarrassed. And I think I was just absolutely finished with the behavior, and I just didn't know what to do. Number one, my son was in shock because now I was crying, and what did I do to mommy? And number two, which was so lovely and was something that I needed to hear, was the other mom, she said to me, "There's no judgment here. No judgment." And I was like, thank you. That is exactly what I actually needed to hear.
Yeah.
Because inside of me, I was quite embarrassed what the other moms were all thinking. But when she said that to me, I was like, there is support out there. You know, I mustn't hold it in. And
No, I think that was really exactly what
I needed to hear then and there.
and a great way to actually offer some comfort and support, because we all go through it.
Exactly. And
You
I
know,
think people try put out there that motherhood is just this like, oh, it's beautiful. And it is. Like, don't get me wrong, I love it. And I have the best time
but it's not easy.
with my kids and my nieces and my nephew. And, you know, it's lovely and we enjoy being together and have fun. But it's not easy sometimes. And it's okay to admit that. And I think so many moms, especially on social media, they put out this picture and this image, and it's like sometimes actually it's not like that, you know.
Yeah. Well, you know, the happy times are great and need to be celebrated, but it's also very important to know that, you know, you go through different stages, and those are normal.
Do you know why they are normal and why those different stages are, like, for me, so important? Because I believe that those are growing stages and teaching stages. And they're important when they happen. And yeah, sometimes I get a little bit irritated and upset when they do happen because it stresses me out and I get very anxious and all of that. But
Normal.
I see exactly normal. But I see such a difference in my children maybe a week later after this incident happened. I mean, my son's like a completely different child. He's kind, he's respectful. Sometimes those boundaries do need to be pushed so that they can learn why the boundaries are there.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, how do they learn otherwise?
Exactly.
You know,
So it's important.
Yeah, it's important. It's an important milestones, and I suppose those are the things that, in a funny sort of way, are surprising when you do become a parent.
Yes,
because you don't really expect certain things to happen. But if you look at it and you zoom out, I mean, how else do we learn?
exactly.
Even as parents, how do we
Yes.
learn? We have to learn how to actually teach them.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know.
No, it is amazing, motherhood. You know, another thing that people don't speak often about, and I never personally went through this, but I know of people that have, and maybe you can speak more about it, but, you know, postpartum depression, that is a big thing that really needs to be normalized. You know, straight after birth, I think, like I said, I felt
Don't
quite
just bounce
alone,
back. No.
but my body changed. I was in pain. I felt very uncomfortable. And I think I did have a village and I did have people that were checking in on me. I had my mom and my dad, my mom-in-law, my sister. I had a lot of people constantly checking in with me. Are you okay? How are you? And I think exactly. I think that helped a lot. But what about, there are people that do have a lot of people around them, but maybe they had a seriously traumatic birthing experience
Yeah.
and maybe their birth didn't go the way they wanted it to go. And that now has caused postpartum, and no one speaks about it. And I think it needs to be spoken about.
Yeah. Probably one of I think I read about it in The Fair Lady years ago. And I think it was Brooke Shields who went through a very difficult stage with one of her kids. And it made me realize, like, you do have baby blues after your child's birth. And I think you and I had that kind of baby blue, but the real postpartum depression where you actually, you
don't even want to hold your
yeah,
child.
you have bonding issues and, real depression to such an extent that it's actually quite dangerous for you and the child.
Yes.
I think those are things that we don't talk about enough, and how normal it is and how important it is not to keep that kind of stuff to yourself.
You're never going to be judged and you're never going to be shamed on. So
No.
people should talk about it.
Talk about it, but also go find help.
Yes. Doesn't
If
mean
you-
that you're weak if you go find help. It actually
No.
makes you stronger.
Absolutely. Find all these, we are surrounded by resources.
Yes.
It's
Definitely.
important not to go through life thinking that you need to actually not say anything,
Yes.
that it's not normal.
Yeah.
We
Exactly.
don't all have, often, you seeing pictures of people with their kids and everybody's looking, so happy. It doesn't mean that isn't true for you.
Exactly.
It's just you're going through a stage.
Yes.
And you don't have to go through it alone.
But even sometimes when you do see these pictures on social media, it doesn't mean that is the true story. I post quite a lot of happy photos of my family, but some days we're having really bad days. And it is normal also.
Yes.
So don't feel that maybe you are having bad days and you see all these happy pictures that's how your life should always be. Everyone goes through ups and downs.
Absolutely.
Your days shouldn't be bad every day. Then definitely you need to seek help. But I think motherhood is such a journey, and going through ups and downs is all part of it. And as long as you as a mother are learning and growing with it and enjoying the journey, that's the main thing.
Yeah,
and talk to other moms, seek help if you need help, or just speak out, because speaking out makes you realize that you're all in the same boat. Yes, it might be a different experience or something different that your child's done or going through, but you're all in it together. Whether your child's an adult child or little child. There's many times, Son, that I've spoken to you about something that I've gone through, and you will say, oh, I went through something similar, or, oh, okay, well, this is maybe what you should try do. And it helps by getting advice, and no one should be ashamed of asking for help or asking for advice, and celebrate the fun part, celebrate the big wins, and celebrate yourself as a mother too.
Yes. I do want to say something about advice though.
Yes.
Because that's the one area that when you have a child, then suddenly the advice starts flowing.
Oh, yes.
Left, right, and center.
Yes.
Oh, you have to sleep train. Oh, you have to do this.
Oh, and you have to breastfeed until a certain age.
Yes. Oh,
or
what? You didn't do that? And
yeah.
all of that kind of stuff. You have to actually also remain focused on what you want to do. And advice is great. It's nice to hear what other people's perspectives is. But if people are being quite, we, for example, weren't very focused on the sleep training story. We felt like our son shouldn't cry.
Yes.
And people have opinions about that.
I think it's so child dependent too.
Yes. So it's also about what you feel you should be doing.
Yeah, and
at that given
right.
time.
Yeah.
So
Like
take it also with a little bit of
a pinch of salt.
Pinch of salt, you know?
Well, like I think the advice, getting advice from other moms or mother figures when your children are a little bit older. So I'd say like now that my one child is almost 6, I'd say getting advice now has been really great for me. And it's like a new phase. I'd say the
More perspectives.
exactly, the baby phase, getting advice was really difficult because no one knew my children the way I knew them. No one knew how they would drink their milk. No one knew how they would sleep. No one knew this and that because they're so tiny that only a mother or the dad knew the child 100%.
Yeah.
So I think getting advice then was quite difficult, and you're hearing all this stuff and you should do this and you should lie them on their
There's like
side.
Books for everything.
Yeah, or like, oh, they're going to get a flat head if you lie them on the back, which is true, but you know, but then if you lie them on their side, they might roll onto their face. So it was a lot.
And quite overwhelming.
It was very overwhelming. So like also which was something I learned only after having my second child. And when my sister-in-law recently had a baby, I said the one piece of advice I can give her is you can listen to everyone's advice, but it doesn't mean you have to take it. And it doesn't mean that you have to feel obliged to do what they say. I said, in the end, you are the only person that knows your baby best. So you know what the right thing to do for your child will be. And I said, that's the best advice I can give you. And I said, reach out when there's something that you're really not sure about. But I said, anything else in between, you do what's right for your child. And you will know. It comes instinctively to you. You will know. So I definitely agree with you on that advice thing.
I do want to say that was something that was very surprising to me, is that there were some moments where I felt that my husband's instinct was better.
Yeah.
So don't feel bad if you don't.
No, but
because it isn't, you know, I mean, you know, that 5 o'clock period that babies go through where they get off, you know, like,
yes.
It's like somebody switches this and suddenly he used to come home.
It's like the suicide hour.
Yes. And he was the one who used to be able to settle him.
Do you know why? Because you were with your child probably for the whole day.
Yeah.
So he's come from a different environment and he's come in and he's like, I can handle this. Whereas you are now mentally and emotionally fatigued. You are exhausted. You're at your limit.
Yeah.
So sometimes
it's about accepting that help.
Oh my gosh. But even now, Sonia, like with my kids, I've been with them maybe the whole day, especially during the holidays, and I'm completely fatigued. And my husband comes in and he's like, oh, okay, like
stepping in.
Yeah, he's like, Alexa out, daddy in, you know? So
absolutely,
it's so important to have that support and to also allow your partner, if you're lucky enough to still have your partner around, to come in, because I did struggle to let go until Julia actually said to me, stop. Like you need to let go now and allow me to also have my way of doing things.
Yeah. I mean, for me, that was also another very surprising thing, is that I was 36 when I had my son. So much older than, you know, I mean, I think nowadays it's actually much more of a norm.
Yes, I was going to say a lot of
this is 22 years ago. But you know, and I had my own production company and I used to be on the road a lot. And what was surprising for me was once I had my child, I actually didn't really want to go back to work. And that was very surprising. And then having to actually
It's been so difficult to go back to work.
But that's where I really appreciated the person that I married.
Okay.
Because he was actually, you know,
hands-on.
Yeah. It's not leaving notes and telling him what to do. He was like there.
Handled it.
It's
amazing.
And that's an important thing that, you know, nowadays there's a lot of single parents out there. It is quite a tough thing to be doing. So,
and co-parenting
and all the bonus people that come into all of that.
Yeah.
I think it's an important thing to remember how communication is central to raising children.
Yes.
Because it's not only about supporting them with all the things that they're going through and learning, but actually the outer family and what all those dynamics are.
Yeah.
And remembering that is how your children learn about the world,
Yes.
is through what we do.
Exactly. And who we allow into their lives.
Yeah. And
It's very true.
all the influences and how we manage our own expectations with each other as adults.
Yes.
We often expecting our kids to behave in a certain way, and they're watching you argue with your,
Partner
partner,
or whatever.
Mother, whatever.
Yes.
And then you're turning around going, but you shouldn't say that, you shouldn't do that. And they've just watched you
speak like that to someone else. Yeah, no, it's very true.
Yeah,
we have to be very careful.
In the end, that is where
Yeah.
we have to really step up and go, am I showing what I'm saying?
Yes.
Am I doing what I'm saying?
Yeah. I'm just very scared for the social media aspect that's heading my way slowly. But we just got to guide them and not helicopter them.
No, not
Anyway, and
I think-
hopefully they'll make the right decisions.
I think that we're
Anyway.
going to end that
Yes.
this file on that, because we're going to have to do a file on social media.
Oh, definitely.
Because
a
it's
big one.
something that we're actually learning for ourselves,
Mm.
through our own social media.
Through feel-good files.
Yes. and
Yeah.
how people relate to us on that aspect, and what the kids are starting to, they might not like, as your children grow older, they might not like what you do.
No, exactly.
I know my son doesn't really like my dance. But that's
Anyway.
the thing. You
Yeah. As long as you're liking it, son, then
Well,
that's
I think
great. And
that's
you
it.
feeling good, then that's
I'm
great.
feeling good. Are you guys feeling good? Because this is the end of file 8.
Yeah.
Well
thank
done.
you.
Nice to see you
Yes.
again, Lex.
Yes, you too, son. Anyway, don't forget to
Like, follow, share,
subscribe.
come on, subscribe.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. See you.
You're listening to Feel Good Files with Lexi and Son.